think when you have sort of two defensive lines that are as deep as that, protecting the goal, I think it's important you rotate the ball. It's important you try to show some patience, but you need to move the ball really quickly. And I think that was something that we did at times. And then there's a couple of times where we've put it in there and we've got one man in the box, and they've got three centre backs that are protecting the goal. So again, it's trying to be patient and try to make good decisions when we have the ball, and then manage the transition moments, because they've got a couple of quick guys up front, and then they're trying to catch you sleeping, and they'll just hit a long ball in behind and then try to catch us out.
Go ahead, Michael.
James, you talked about how Vancouver sat in deep. How do the players, the attacking players, keep their patience and their focus up over the course of a game where it is so difficult to get space in the attacking third?
Yeah, I think it becomes really important that you keep believing and you show a lot of faith. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, we rotated the ball a lot, and I think there was a couple of times maybe where we could have maybe then once we've rotated it, then the gap opens up. But also for our guys, especially the longer it goes on, it's trying to manage the frustration. I think really important that the understanding of where the space is as they start to tire. I mean, we'd spoken about it at half time where we believed there was going to be some pockets that would potentially open up. But it becomes really important then the players that are coming off the bench that they can go on and they can impact the game, and that they see the way the game is transitioning. And that's something we spoke about again individually to some of the players, to make sure that you don't just sit on the bench, that you're watching the game and you're being intentional about seeing what areas people are going into and what areas the space is likely to open up.
Mellissa in the middle.
Coach, can I talk about Sebas Mendes? He was a good playmaker during the course of a very difficult defense today.
Yeah, I mean he's someone that we believe has got a tremendous future in the game. I think he can go on, and he's someone I believe will have an outstanding career. I think he will definitely go on and achieve big things. As regards today, I thought it was an interesting game for him because he showed quite a bit of maturity for somebody so young. The understanding of, okay, I don't need to force the ball centrally. I need to be patient. I need to rotate the ball and then wait for gaps to open up. And I think he's a very intelligent footballer. He's someone we believe, as I say, is going to go on and do great things.
Go ahead, Mike.
Coach, you've spoken about having players that come off the bench and having somewhat of an impact. We saw Sasha Kleshin not be in the 11, but to come into the second half and kind of be involved in that go-ahead goal. How important was that for the team to get those points?
Well, really important. But again, I think the most impressive thing is that, and I've said this before, I mean, it was Mueller, people were saying, Mueller's come on, he's impacted the game. Sashi obviously has impacted the game. I think the most pleasing aspect for me as a coach is that we've got players that will accept the decision and then will be intentional about trying to go and impact the game. Sashi showed tremendous maturity the way he handled it and the way he came on. We wanted to have him coming in from the bench because we felt as if he could perhaps impact the game, whether that was deep in our half or in their half. He's got a good football brain, and he's someone that, again, you're really pleased that we have somebody like that at the football club.
Go ahead, Jordan.
Coach, in your opinion, was the understanding of defensive space a little bit better for this team this time around, particularly between the two center backs, Lamine and Robin?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's that one big incident sort of second half where we get caught where we're fortunate really he didn't score. But I think in general, no, we were very pleased with the concentration. I think when they were defending so deep, we did a really good job of making sure that they stayed in their half and that they weren't able to come out and attack us as much as I'm sure they wanted to. So I thought we definitely managed the transition moments well, which again is. Yeah, it can be difficult in a game like that because the expectation is for everyone to go and win the game and for us to beat Vancouver when they're defending like that. But when the game goes on, you have one cleared off the line, you have blocked shots, you have decisions, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, you need to really keep believing and show tremendous fortitude to keep going, and keep going. And the players did that. They deserve enormous credit for that.
All right, Michael. A couple more.
James, you've talked in the past about not conceding silly goals early in the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, the team accomplished that.
Yeah.
How important was it to get the shutout at home, where the team has given up so many, and how do you harness this defensive effort and continue it?
Yeah, I mean, I think again that's something that is really important. We feel that we've got really good players that can go and score goals. So I think that the biggest thing for all of us is to make sure that the defensive responsibility is on all of us to make sure that we make it difficult for teams to play against us. And you want to get that balance where you want to be proactive in your defensive organisation, but we want to attack, we want to entertain, and we want to go and score goals. And I think the challenge sometimes is when you're attacking, is then to switch off, lose concentration, and then get caught. So I thought the players deserved enormous credit for the way they managed the transition moments today. Not just the defenders, but also the midfielders as well.
Go ahead, Austin.
James, switching up formations tonight, sticking with the 4-back, going more attacking. Was that kind of in response to you thinking that Vancouver would sit back and defend and trying to take the game to them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was something that we wanted to do. I think it was more a case of just having a number higher up the field, and that if they did try to play out, we could be pretty aggressive in how we wanted to press. I think that was. And there was a couple of really good instances where our shape was great. We were able to put pressure, and then we ended up regaining the ball higher up the field, which is important. I think that you can still do that with 3 at the back, but our fear would be that if they just had the one striker, that we would have maybe 3 back there, and we wanted to make sure that we had the extra body higher up the field and closer to goal.
Go ahead, Mike, and then we'll wrap it up with Jordan.
Coach, now the team has 2 consecutive home wins here at home. How do you approach now, I guess, trying to string up some victories also on the road and kind of get some momentum going as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously what we want to try to do. We want to try to garner some momentum. I mean, as I said, we feel throughout the course of the season performances have been at a good level. We've had a couple of maybe blips where we've thought, okay, that needs to be better. But overall, I think we've been really pleased with the level of performance. And, we want to make sure that continues and that then results in us getting more 3 points. But I think it's very pleasing for us to be able to have got the 3 points today. But again, you have to dial yourself into what will be a tough game next week in New York.
Wrap it up with Jordan.
Coach, preseason, we spoke so much about turning things around from last year, the mentality of this team, what you wanted to see from this team this year. You got your 3rd win of this season so far. Has everything that you spoke about now during preseason officially set in for this team? Has there been a true turnaround?
Look, there's loads of aspects that we feel as if we've made some massive strides. I think when you look at the culture, when you look at the like we're speaking about, I think that's the 8th player that's impacted the game coming off the bench. So I think there's been loads of positives that we can point to, but I don't necessarily feel that we're going to stand and pat ourselves on the back and feel like, okay, we've achieved anything. We've had a decent enough start. We want to go and we want to continue that, but there's still big strides for us to be able to go ahead and make. And I think the most pleasing aspect, like I've said, is when you look at the culture that we're trying to generate, we're seeing some signs that we're definitely going in the right direction. We're starting to get some of the aspects that we want. But the people that know me know that I never stop. So we're certainly not going to be, stopping. We just need to maintain the momentum and now try go and build off it in spring. And like we say, try go and get some more points on the board.
Thank you.